I am still getting situated in here. For those of you that are here, thanks for joining me. We'll get going in like a tight two. I am still getting situated in here. You probably just heard echo because I use my phone to monitor chat. And I didn't turn the volume down because I'm a doofus. And we are on. I made this quick note right there, but that's why I was getting situated. UPS actually just showed up. This bee is back to hang out again. I want you here, bud, but I don't want you. Well, I don't want you to get hurt, and I don't want me to get hurt. There you go. Alright. Gonna start things off a little bit different today, even though we're all ready. I'm going to read a short little essay from Brian Doyle. It's called A Shrew. One time long ago, when I was supple and strong and rubbery, as a snake in a hurry, I was on my belly in the bush and saw a shrew in the litter of leaves, and for the longest short moment we startled each other considerably. But maybe the scale of our encounter was so ludicrously unbalanced that our normal fear of weird missed the bus, leaving us eye to eye under the epic ambition of a huckleberry tangle. I remember thinking that the shrew was awfully near my two absolute favorite eyeballs, and that shrews are said to be terrors among the tiny. I remember that it was the size of a thumb or a thimble or a little cigar. I remember that it had a lustrous, dense, shining coat as black as can be. I remember wondering even then what it could possibly be wondering. B, don't go up my nose. I remember that he or she seemed to be missing a northeast appendage. Many questions and angles of inquiry presented themselves to me later, such as what combination of factors could deduct a limb from a shrew, and what manner of beast could have executed such deletion. Perhaps a romantic tangle, a political wrangle, a religious debate turned savage, as so often has been the case? Or the usual suspects snuffling for meat? Or maybe shrews, who do not live long in the way the world calculates, dissolve a leg at a time, growing ever closer to the sinuous roil of soil, as we all do. But meanwhile, there's such a hungry immediacy, correct? All these years later, that's what I remember from the shrewish moment, that I stopped thinking and just stared. Yes, partly because I was scared, but there was something beyond curiosity or the startle of astonishment. For just an instant, I paid attention with every shard and iota of my being. Maybe we couldn't survive if we were like that all the time. I don't know. But when it happens, we see that which none of us can find the words for. Sometimes we are starving to see every bit of what is right in front of us. Again, that was from Mr. Brian Doyle, from the book One Long River of Song. I finished it a couple weeks back, and I can't get it off my head, so much to the point that I sent it to my brother for part of his birthday present, because it's just a very good collection of Brian Doyle's essays. I highly recommend it. Let's get started. That being said, I don't know what we're doing today. I don't want to continue the word a day prompts that I made for my students because we're on an A-day, B-day schedule, and so I'll address their prompts every other day. So that leaves the little median in-betweens for whatever we want to do. Something I considered is I saw earlier on Reddit, I saw where someone had made some porcelain cups, and I've seen this happen on it, like Instagram and other places too. Someone made some porcelain cups that were just, regular little cup forms like that. Nothing crazy whatsoever. But they were layered up with various colors. So it's like it was porcelain and it was rolled. Obviously it was flush here. But when they made it, they built walls up around it so it had some depth. And then they cut back through it with some kind of little carving tool. And what would happen was you had 3 different layers of like really distinct, vibrant contrast. And I thought that looked really neat. So I thought maybe for today, for our first little bit of hanging out, I'll just see if I can make that digitally. I don't know. I play with digital illustration a fair amount, but honestly, I've still got a lot to learn. And I think that's part of art as well, is being very open and honest with yourself about where your weaknesses are. Whoops. And not seeing those necessarily as like a point of shame or embarrassment, but to know that you can go beyond those with practice. So I'm going to use this nice little textury brush that I've got. Just do this wonky square. And I actually am going to use my selection tool, make it do an automatic selection. Now it looks like nothing's there. But what we're going to do is we're going to open up a new layer. I'm going to drag that layer underneath. And I think I'll come in here with a bit of like a really sharp red. That looks good to me. And then I'm going to do one more layer and drop it underneath as well and do a nice sharp contrasting yellow. Oops, let me get this one out of our way. Not being too picky, just kind of laying in some color. Should I do one final one that's white? No. We're fine with what it is. Whoop. And so now I'm making all these layers visible again. We'll have this black one up top. That should be pretty punchy. Some nice black, red, yellow. So what am I going to do? Let's see. Let's see if I can find a pin on here that I like the texture of. Oh yeah, that's nice. Let's just try a little swatch. Let's take this little bit out here on the top layer, on the black layer. Then I'm going to go back in with this red, or into the red layer. I'm going to pull some of it away too. It's got a decent visual punch, but I think we're missing something. And I think maybe that's a sense of shadow. Went and erased a little bit on the yellow layer too. Let's select our black layer again. I'm going to insert a black layer under it and copy and do that under each layer because we're trying something wild here. Wait, no. Let's just see if it works there. So let's do... Oh. Why is this not working? But I'm on empty layer, silly goose. No, it doesn't look like I want it to. It just looks fuzzy. Let's try it again though. Well, that does something. That adds a little bit of contrast. Maybe it's too harsh. It does give us some separation though, doesn't it? I know my posture is bad, I'm sorry. That kind of worked. I also just don't really know how I feel about it. Let me condense all these into a group and then I'll do something else. I don't want a group inside a group. Here, this is how you do it. Group. Gone. Okay, let's just do some sketching. Let's see, where do we go? Let's make just some thumbnails. When I don't know what to do, I don't know what to sketch, a lot of times I'll just make a bunch of thumbnails. You don't have to hand draw these boxes in. I just kind of like it. Lets me be able to vary the shape of them a little bit. It looks a little bit more playful, a little more organic maybe. Look at that one. One kind of got away from me. That's alright. I'm going to do it like a tall, skinny one. Maybe I start thinking about like comic panels and then decide to maybe try a design that has a separation in it. Just like yesterday, there's no real right or wrong here. Wearing a fun new hat for today's stream. I mean, it's not a new hat. It's new to you guys because this is only the second time I've ever done this. But I am wearing a fun hat. Someone let me know if my levels are too wonky or if something's messing up in stream. Because I don't know from my end. My laptop is barely doing all this stuff. It's keeping up with me best it can. And vice versa. There we go. And now, because I have the option, because I'm doing this digitally, I'm just going to do a new layer. And I'll just start just like I would writing. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to try not to move the screen around too much today. I'm going to make my pencil a little bit smaller so it's not so overly dominating the space. And let's just throw in some shapes and see where they take us. I mentioned it yesterday, but I've been really into trying to draw these weird little robots lately. Kind of always wanted to learn how to draw better robots. So that's probably where it's coming from, just a latent desire to want to draw robots. Maybe I should zoom in a little bit more so you can see it better. And I'm just guessing as I go through here. I'm just kind of putting down some shapes, things that look kind of interesting. Maybe I should have thought about balancing some things a little bit better. But these are thumbnail sketches. They are not meant to be these refined works of art. It's not what I'm looking for. It's not my goal. Oh man, I gave that robot such a sad head. So this robot got a really weird neck. It's got a joint in its neck. It doesn't make sense anatomically for a human, but it's not a human, it's a robot. Did you already forget? You're so silly. Maybe this robot has like big robot underwear. Maybe he's flying through space. It's a moon. No, it's a bad moon. Moon. Some stars. The stars looked more like those little puff snacks that babies eat so they can't choke on food, on solid food, practice food. Practice snacks when you're not ready for the real Cheez-Its just yet. Give them some weird little ears. Okay, so this is the great thing about thumbnails. I have not spent a lot of time on that. If I loved it, which I don't really, but if I did, I could just copy that, go in here, bloop. Oh no, freehand. I could go in here and copy this down and take it to a new canvas, blow it up, and sketch over it like I showed yesterday. Let's do something with maybe a little bit more drama and perspective. Put our horizon line down here. Big old robot legs. And look, we don't even have it's a small thumbnail sketch, but maybe we want to establish just how big this robot is. So just lop in some simple little triangle trees down here. This guy's running through a pine forest. What's he doing? All these evergreens. What is up with this robot? just this little lump as his head. Maybe we'll just zoom in real far. Put two little dots up here. He's got some beady eyeballs or something, looking out at the world. His arm would come out over here more, I think. Kind of makes his arm look like it's in a cast. That's kind of weird. It's alright, we'll roll with it. One more time, this is the refrain of our song. It's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect, he says as he erases what he just sketched. It's okay. He is. He's like waving. Bye, buddy. Little mountain range. Make the little trees even smaller back there. Low clouds. I don't know. Here's a bigger sketch. Bigger little setup. Someone's riding their motorcycle outside. I'm sure you guys can hear that. Okay, I'm gonna go fill up my coffee, drinking out of my Super Mario 3 mug today. I'm gonna go get some coffee, and I will be right back. And I'm back. Computer's taking a second. Oh no, my program. Don't crash. Don't crash. Just give it a moment to catch up with us. Okay, now we're back. Let's just do this to get a fun character out in the world. Let's do a little rectangular body like this. Maybe there. Looking up at something fun. forgot to bring the chat back up. It's okay, no one's chatting anyways. Some run. It's a fun little guy. He's running from maybe he's running from like a big mean bird. Could be. It's a creepy bird. Okay. Let's do some random doodling. I don't know what this nightmare is. It's like a robot ant, because Kaylee and I just watched Bug's Life again the other day. It's a robot ant with a TV for a head. What's that Japanese folk tale about big scary skeleton man terrorizing the town? Go away, B. We can be friends, but you're scaring me. over 30 minutes already. So maybe this is that guy. Maybe this is based on that folk tale. I mean, it definitely is. I just can't remember what it's called. Spine would be going back this way. Ooh, I got spooky fast. Okay, that was an idea that I didn't like, so you just keep moving. It's a nice thing about thumbnails. I need to check on my students real quick. Wait for that to come up. I'll just draw. It came up. Okay, they're good. They're okay. Very good. Let's just draw some of the things around me that. Let's just draw some of my favorite tools. My favorite tools is just a good, like, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch chisel. One of the two. Love them. Also, really just miss woodworking. I wish I had a little bit more space to stretch out. That's a little bit of an excuse too. I realize that. You can do a lot with a little space. It's just been hard to get back into it. For a plethora of reasons. That handle got a little wonky on that chisel. That's okay. Let's draw it next to. I got some screwdrivers that I really love. Because they've got these old wooden handles. Dad gave them to me. They're in a box of tools that I don't know if he found them somewhere or what, but he brought them to me during one of the times that they visited while I was in grad school. I really love these weird little screwdrivers. The actual driver part is not actually super centered on the wooden handles, but the wooden handles, I've tried to show it. I could just show you guys the sample. Oh no, the lighting's bad in the corner. It's square, but at the corners rounded off, they've got this little bit of a grip. And then the drivers are just standard Phillips and flat. But I really like them. Actually, that's too thick for the ratio. I'm going to curve it because it's a drawing. It doesn't matter. actually going to move this one lower. It's kind of fun. Can't remember the artist's name off the top of my head. I think I found him on Reddit originally, or it could have been a blog somewhere. And I think it's after his grandpa passed away, he inherited all of his grandpa's old woodworking tools. It's called like the Shed Project or something like that. And he just started illustrating. He started cataloging every single thing that he found in his grandpa's shed. So it's like, yes, cool tools got illustrated, but too, it was just like even the most, what would feel like the most minute, like passable, easy to overlook, not even think about it, like busted hardware, bent nuts and bolts, or like washers, really flattened out washers, anything like that. He illustrating all of it. He puts these really cool little tags around each of them that look something like this, like just to say what number it is. Well, that just looks like a number 2 pencil. But it's really neat. I love it. And then, what else do we have? Oh, no, I'm just gonna leave that too. You can't forget the ever trusty pocket square. Its blade runs like this. There's a little pocket square. And then if that's the angle, where would that go? Go back that way, technically. That doesn't, looks a little cramped. That's okay. Just extend it further forward. Pocket square. Okay, I'd mentioned using this as like a double frame. What trouble can we get into here? Oh, we can make a sad story. Little kid's hand coming out. This is a balloon. Lost. Gone away. It's like in Spider-Man 2, the video game. Where the little kid just keeps yelling, "My balloon!" Maybe the saddest thing I've ever drawn. Kind of bumming myself out with that one. Let's move on. Maybe I want to draw. Maybe I want to draw an old friend. It's been so long since I've drawn him, I forget how he looks. Yeah. chair. There's a little character I made a while back. And then I subsequently killed him off. Run out of space for him. He's kind of angled weird anyways. Let's go to something new. Let's practice. Let's practice. One of the guys I really like watching on YouTube, and I really like the things that he makes. He's been doing a lot of like Dungeons and Dragons maps, like making maps for your buddies. So let's just do a quick little practice map. Let's give ourselves some unspecified body of mass. Body of mass. Mass of land, a continent. And let's make a little key for ourselves down here. Maybe we make mountains. Something like this. Maybe it's just shaded a little bit. That could be mountains. Maybe these are our trees. Combo. Oh, I couldn't do like a pine tree because it looked too much like my mountains. There you go. That's a fun tree. Something like that. Little stem. We need to know. So those are mountains. Tree. We need to know. Rivers. This was JP Coover that was doing this. I don't think I said that. I just said someone I like watching. I like their work. Rivers, and let's do dotted lines for roads. Just come in. Start putting rivers. Remember, if this is water out here, oh, we'll use this for water. This is classic. But it's water surrounding our land mass. And that river's gotta connect to it somewhere. Unless there's rivers down. Like it's going underneath the earth or something. I don't know what I'm talking about. And I never do. That's not true. Sometimes I do. Oh, we could even like divide it up. No, let's not do that. Okay, let's throw some mountain ranges in before we get too carried away with those rivers. Because maybe too, I would like these trees to kind of obfuscate. Obfuscate. Just do some trees up here. Maybe the river runs through this small forest. Give the trees a little bit of shade just to separate them. been going for 50 minutes today. Probably cut it off at 10 more minutes, an hour. Not because I'm not enjoying myself, it's just some days you're feeling a little bit more creative, and then some days you're just kind of tired. Today I'm having a tired day. I think we've all been experiencing a lot of tired days. Let's throw some mountains over here. No, I actually like that where it's going over the river because we can just erase the river away some. Let's actually make some of these mountains continue up beyond the little barrier that we've created. There we go. Now I've got some lift. Something like that. This little mountainous area looks kind of dangerous, huh? Cool. Let's put a little entrance to the mountain. Now let's just give it some shade, just like we did the trees. Just to give it a little bit of lift from the other sides. Cool. Oh, we should have put like a little port town or something in there. Let's make it. Make it really simple. A little town. That road goes to it. Maybe someone made a town at the base of this river. Because there's like a pond. Maybe the flow is pretty small there. It's pretty shallow. Shallow pond. Maybe it's swampy. Oh, you know what'd be cute is if we put little bridges. There's a bridge. There's a bridge. Cool. Then we had this going over here. So let's just do actually. Oh yeah. Hang on. Let's get rid of these lines and do from over here. There we go. Maybe that's where the whole little kingdom is. You come out of the woods and into the picture with me. Remember that song? Alright. That's kind of fun. Little map. So we didn't quite fill the page, but that's not really what I was gunning for. We were just playing around. We made a really sad story, drew some fun tools, drew a weird robot, drew a big waving robot, drew probably the ugliest bird I've ever drawn ever, an insect with a TV screen, a battle insect with a TV screen, Japanese folklore guy, skeleton, chair, and that's it for today. Let's call it. Thanks for joining me, those that popped in as we were going. It was very fun. Tomorrow we'll be back again at 2 p.m. Eastern. And we will be working on what's the word of the day for tomorrow. Whoops, that's my note that I made for the side. Sneaky. So on March 27th, 2 p.m. Eastern, let's meet back here. And that will be the word that we are responding to. Sneaky. Thank you all for joining me. That's all I got. Have a good day, guys.